Hello and welcome to this edition of Money's Best Friend with me, Vivek Law. The year is drawing to a close and the time to start working on your New Year resolutions is coming even closer. One of the most important resolutions for some of us should be to take charge of our finances. In fact, for most of us. In our two-part series on your money in 2016, we will take you through the do's and don'ts of two essential financial products: insurance and mutual funds. Buying insurance is one of the most important financial decisions, but only 10% of Indians are insured and even a lesser amount are adequately insured. Regardless of how much you earn, no one knows what the future holds, and that's why the stress on buying insurance. Us buy insurance to save taxes and end up not getting enough protection or returns. On this episode of Money's Best Friend, we tell you which types of insurance to have and how much coverage is necessary to keep you protected. Before we do this, let's watch this special report on how you can build your insurance portfolio.
An insurance portfolio differs from one person to another. While there are some insurance policies you may or may not need, we tell you 3 must-have insurance policies in your portfolio. Life insurance policy. Life insurance products typically comprise term plans, endowment plans, and unit-linked insurance plans. All these policies pay a predetermined sum if the insured dies before the policy matures. But in case of term insurance, all premiums paid are used to cover the cost of insurance protection. While in endowment policies, in addition to the premium paid, you also earn a bonus. In ULIP, you predominantly invest in stock markets. So what is the ideal age to buy a life insurance policy? The ideal age to buy a term policy is when you're between 30 and 35, because the older you are, the higher will be the premium. Deciding the sum insured, it should ideally be 15 times your annual salary. What to watch out for? Charges are high under ULIP plans compared to mutual funds. Since these are front-ended policies, you need to continue the policy at least for 10 years. Also, there is a lock-in period of 5 years in unit-linked plans. One should also opt for the waiver of premium raider option in case of child plans. This ensures that your insurance company takes care of the premiums in case something were to happen to you. Health insurance. With the cost of healthcare spiraling every day, this is one policy you cannot afford to leave out. What then is the ideal time to buy a health insurance policy? Experts say to buy it when you're young and fit. It is advisable to get a policy as early in life as possible. Insurers also charge higher premiums from people in high-risk category. For example, smokers and elderly people need to pay a higher premium. Deciding the sum insured. It depends on the kind of hospital you would like to be admitted to in the event of an illness. If you start at an early age, you need not pay a high cover, but as you grow old, it is advisable to increase the cover amount. Typically, a 25-year-old can get a cover of 5 lakh for a premium of 4,000. What you should watch out for. Before you buy health insurance, ascertain the following from your insurer. If pre-existing illnesses are covered, duration of the pre-hospitalization and post-hospitalization period, co-payment option, limit on reimbursement of expenses incurred on certain diseases. Critical illness plan. Apart from a health insurance plan, it is very important to have a critical illness insurance. Critical illness covers of fixed benefit plans. One gets the full sum insured irrespective of whether one is hospitalized or not, or what the treatment expenses are. However, details vary from plan to plan. Again, the best way to decide how much cover you need is to know what the company is charging you for. If you know the benefits offered, it will be easier to decide how much protection you need.
Joining me now is Naval Goyal, founder and CEO at PolicyX.com. Thank you very much, Naval, for coming by.
Thank you.
You're an aggregator, so you deal with a lot of insurance companies. You've been having thousands of people coming to your portal to compare various insurance policies. First up, what I want to understand from you is that most of us have this problem, if I may call it, that we treat insurance as some tax-saving instrument. Just the other day, I had a couple of my colleagues here who've been sold a policy, being told that this is a 5-year policy. Now, there is the investment side of insurance through the ULIPs and the endowment, and then you have the term insurance, which is pure play insurance protection. We traditionally seem to have believed more in wanting to go for these endowment and ULIP plans rather than pure protection. So I want you to first upfront give us some clarity on what the difference between these two is.
Sure, Vivek. So basically, term plans provide you pure protection at a very low cost. So, and whereas endowment plans or investment plans, they are basically to invest money. They provide very small sum assured or coverage, but your money goes in mostly investing in shares or mutual funds or debt instruments. So the objectives are very different for both of these types of plans. So term plan is only for protection. So only in case of death it provides the sum assured. So if the person survives the term, he doesn't get paid anything, or his family doesn't get paid anything. Whereas an investment plan, they charge you a very, if you, just to give you some example numbers, you pay a premium of 50,000 annually. Your sum assured in investment plan would be in the range of 5 lakh rupees for a 50,000 premium. Whereas if you go for a term plan, you can get a sum assured of 1 crore at a very low premium of 10,000 rupees annually. So because it pays only in case of death, and probability of death is very low. So that is why insurance companies, they charge a very low premium. But if
and what is 5 lakh? 5 lakh is not even going to last your family 3 or 4 months.
Exactly.
Leave alone a lifetime if you were to die.
So that is exactly what most people they think of when a person pitches them a term plan, what they tell is what do I get in return. What they don't understand is it is a pure risk protection, and there's a very it's a very big problem. In case something happens to a bread earner in the family, the entire family cannot survive on a 5 lakh sum assured or 7 lakh sum assured. So they definitely need a term plan. However, Indian mentality is that if I don't get back anything in case I don't die, I would not go for that policy. But that mentality is changing a bit, as people are becoming aware, because earlier term plans were not even sold by agents. Since the premium is very low,
the commissions are very less,
and
really sold them aggressively.
They didn't sell them aggressively, and they always focused on investment plan, endowment plans, where the premium is high and they get a good cut out of it. But from a consumer standpoint, I would definitely suggest every bread earner in the family to have a term plan.
And let's talk about the investment side, because again, we did see a lot of mis-selling in the past.
Right.
The charges were very high when we talk about ULIPs or endowment policies, almost going up to 40-45% in the first year. That has been corrected to some extent. But I think the larger issue still remains that people think that just because there's a 5-year lock-in, these products are only for 5 years. And that's, I think, a big mistake people still continue to make. That because there is a large charge which you pay upfront or in the first couple of years, unless you're not invested for 10 to 15 years, you're not really going to make much out of that policy at all.
Absolutely. So any investment that you make, you should have a horizon of long term, basically 10, 15, 20 years, 30 years even, because that is your savings, and you should not treat insurance as savings. It's a very separate thing. So as I said, if you want to say you have a 1 lakh rupees disposable income for insurance, you can basically invest say 10,000 on a term plan, and the remaining 90,000 can be invested in a ULIP kind of a plan where the charges are low. Earlier it was very high, and therefore people thought that people were basically charged so much that their investment returns were so less. Now that has been corrected, and they can go for a longer term ULIP plans if the horizon is long. I would suggest them to go for an equity oriented ULIP.
But long, 15 years and above.
10 to 15,
10 to
20
15
years is a good enough horizon for equity investments. Otherwise, even debt plans are
Have the
better.
charges come down dramatically, especially
Yes.
if you buy online?
Absolutely. It has come down from say 40%, 30% in the first 3-4 years to less than 5%.
And it's even lesser if you go online?
Yeah, it is definitely less for an online plan, and it's very convenient to buy online as well. So people can definitely look at ULIP along with a term plan combination, which will give them protection as well as ULIP plans. But they should not think in terms of I'm not getting back anything in this policy if nothing happens to me, because insurance and investments are two separate things. Only because of ATC benefits I recommend ULIP. Otherwise I would suggest go for a mutual fund or anything. But since they get a ATC benefit in the beginning, which is 30% of the total amount, so ULIP does make sense.
The difference between, if I were to say buy a term cover, the difference between doing it at 20 or 30 or 40, because the premium just keeps rising as you grow older, isn't it?
Yes.
And since we have a lot of young viewers listening into us, can you give me an example of why it's so important that you buy it as early as possible?
So ideally a term plan should be bought whenever a person starts earning, or whenever a person is married, because as soon as somebody else is dependent on your income, that is the objective of a term plan. Since somebody else's life is dependent on your income and something happens to you, the term plan pays off. So generally a person should buy a term plan at the age of 25, which is when he starts earning, and the ideal term for a term plan should be 60, which is retirement age in most cases, minus the current age. So but the only challenge there is, insurance companies would not give you a sum assured of 10 to 12 times of your income, more than that. So say for example a person at 25 is earning 10 lakhs, he can get a term plan of 1 crore. But at age 35 he might be earning 30 lakhs.
And you can't top up your plan?
Exactly. So that is when you should add more.
You can add more?
Yes, absolutely. Not on the same plan, you can buy another plan.
Another plan.
So
but then you don't get the benefit of having entered early.
For that particular amount, say for example 1 crore you bought at 25, you now are eligible for a 3 crore plan. Then you can buy another plan with 3 crore sum assured or 2 crore additional sum assured. So that for that 2 crore you are paying a higher premium, but for the first one,
initial amount, you've got it cheaper.
Right.
And is there a lot of difference between, because it's a competitive industry, there are so many insurance companies, almost 24 plus. Is there a lot of difference between one company's charges and another? And I'm talking about the simple product, because you're not getting into the complex product which could have different features, but a term cover is a simple product. Is there a lot of difference between one company and another?
So you'll be shocked to know that a premium for a very similar plan, for a same sum assured, everything else being the same, age, smoking habits, etc. Premium varies from 5,000 to 15,000. That is the kind of difference we are looking at. So you can easily save up to 50% of your annual premium if you compare different companies, plans from different companies. And some companies are very aggressive, they want to capture the market share, and they've provided that benefit of aggressive pricing to the customer, so why not go for them?
Absolutely.
As long as you're sure that the company will be around 25-30 years down the line, because as I said, term plan is usually it has a very long horizon. You're looking at some, and it's very, very important. It's the most important part of the portfolio. So you should just list down the companies that you have complete faith on in terms of private or public companies, and you can make a short list of say 10-12 companies and go for the premium, lowest premium. And you will see that there's a huge difference. You can save easily up to 40-50% in annual premiums.
All right, let's take a quick break here on Money's Best Friend. We will take some of your queries when we return. Keep watching. Welcome back. You're watching Money's Best Friend with me, Vivek Law. We're talking about insurance, how to pick the right insurance policy. We have an email now from Siddharth Mehta from Mumbai. He's 23 years old and he writes, I bought an endowment policy in October of 2010. I pay a premium of 48,000 rupees for a sum assured of rupees 10 lakh. I was planning to surrender the policy after 4 premium payments, but the agent suggested to continue it. I would incur a huge loss if I surrender it now, as I would get only about 1,50,000, whereas at the end of the term I would get sum assured plus bonus. Please suggest, should I continue or surrender? A classic case of what we were talking about, isn't it? Right. That 50,000 rupees a year deployed, and he's so young. It doesn't look like he has a term cover from what I hear him say, and only a 10 lakh cover, which is not going to be enough at all. But once you've got into this, what do you do? Can you come out of it? His money is now worth 1,50,000. He seems to have put in about 2 lakh if you take 50,000 per year. What should one do if you've already invested?
So it's a very tricky question, you know, because at one side you've already invested or you've already put in so much money that, you know, most of the charges would have been covered, and on the other hand you have a better product in the market. You know, ULIP plans now are, you know, less costlier in terms of charges and all. So I think he can wait till the surrender cost is low. He should find out from his policy agent or whatever when would be the right time when the surrender cost is low. And I don't really suggest to, you know, continue till the end of the term because it looks like a very high cost policy from what he has mentioned, you know, the amount of premium that he has given. So I would suggest he can just find out whether it's 5-year or 6-year. Till then he should continue with the policy, and as and when he gets a good NAV out of it, he should withdraw and put it in some you know, good ULIP plan along with a term plan. So I think this is again a very classic case of, you know, not buying a term plan and, you know, investing in something which has high charges and, you know, it doesn't yield returns in a very short term.
All right, we have one more query. This is from Shitikanta Mohanty. He says, my monthly income in hand is 40,000 rupees. I have 4 life insurance policies. I have a concern about one of the ULIPs that I'm holding. I had paid 3 premiums so far, but if I surrender this policy, what money would I get in return after all the necessary deductions? Again, too many policies. You don't need that many policies, isn't it? It's better to have it should be more the focus on the protection amount rather than, this is a classic case of just buying policies every year because you think you're going to get a tax benefit out of it.
Right. So I think the motivation behind buying so many policies is definitely only tax deductions. Whereas when you are investing or, you know, buying something, the motivation for buying insurance should be protection or the sum assured. And I'm sure, you know, most people when they buy a policy, they don't even know the sum assured. These kind of ULIP policies or, you know, endowment plans. So I would say, you know, consolidation is something that should be done. However, you know, it depends on policy to policy what kind of charges would be incurred. So the person should be looking at surrender charge and what is the NAV that he can currently get out of it.
How much typically is a surrender charge, and on an average how long does this how long should you be in a policy when after which you don't have to pay a surrender charge?
So generally it's 5 years. There's a lock-in of 5 years. So most people, I would suggest to continue at least for till the time there is no surrender charge, or there are other charges as well. You know, there are allocation charges. So allocation charges are front loaded initially, you know, in your first 3 to 5 years. It's much higher than, you know, later years. So basically all those charges should be compared, and decisions should be taken whether to actually hold that policy or to take out the money and invest in a better performing product.
Do you believe that somewhere the regulator, though a lot of changes have happened, do you believe some of these products, at least the communication of them, should be more simpler? Because you pick up that document, you have to go to some 30th page to figure out where that surrender charge is written, or what are these other charges. Do you think there is, since you see so many of these products, do you think there is need for further simplification?
Absolutely. I think this is the biggest problem that we face as a company. So our job is to provide comparison, but frankly, for endowment plans, ULIP plans, it's so difficult to provide comparison because, you know, the product itself are so customized. One company offers one type of product, another company offers products with different timelines, different policy years, premium payment term, etc., etc. So a lot of mathematics has to be done to basically figure out which policy offers a better return. So, you know, policy should be simpler, and regulator, I think maybe they should standardize at least some part of the policy, that okay, these are the features that should be covered, or there should be some comparison mechanism. That has happened for term plans. So term plans are very simple, and therefore, you know, people can compare it in 5-10 minutes and see which is the best. But investment plans, frankly, you know, it's a challenge for us also to understand. So I definitely can understand the problems that a layman would be facing, because, you know, they would definitely not understand things like IRR, internal rate of return, or, you know, what is the what are the different allocation charges, how is it calculated. So I think regulator is doing a lot to change that. So for example, they have mandated that, you know, there should be some example schedule of, you know, allocation charges, etc., etc. And, you know, but the problem is that people still don't see those things because it's hidden in the 30-pager document, or, you know, somewhere it is there. So I think, yes, simplification is something that is required, and slowly as online insurance becomes more prevalent, and, you know, as people become more knowledgeable, I think that will be the need of the hour.
Thank you very much, Naval, for coming by and sharing your perspective with our viewers here on Money's Best Friend. All right, that's all the time we have in this edition of Money's Best Friend. Do make a note of the fact that while insurance is important, it is more to do with protection and does not necessarily make it the best investment tool. We will be back next week with everything you need to know about investing in mutual funds. In the meantime, if you have any query related to equity, mutual funds, insurance, real estate, gold, then do write into us at moneysbestfriend@aajtak.com. And do not forget to mention your contact details. Goodbye and have a lovely weekend.